Thank you, and thank you for inviting me here. As Corinna knows, so the Global Panel on Agriculture and Food Systems for Nutrition is a set of champions globally, we're operating in their independent roles to push forward the idea that food systems are not working, but that food systems can change. So several weeks ago, this new report, The Future of Food Systems, was launched virtually at FAO. The DG of FAO is one of the panel members. But I hasten to argue, to make the case that this is not just another report. It's aimed primarily at linking global responsibilities and actions with those facing low and middle income country governments and other stakeholders. So it's arguing that everyone has a role to play, but is accepting that there are particular constraints in resource constrained settings. We of course used the latest science and evidence to confirm that food systems must be transformed, but this isn't just another advocacy report saying we must transform the world. We are focused more on the steps that are needed to achieve that transformation. So the focus of this report is the transition steps, the complex but feasible actions that can be taken across the food system. Obviously, the starting point is that we believe, and the evidence actually already clearly shows that food systems and suboptimal diets, the diets that people eat or cannot eat, are at the core of two of the world's greatest planet-wide challenges today. The one is human health deterioration, not just through the undernutrition and hunger and malnutrition we were talking about, but through the growing epidemic of diet-related non-communicable diseases. So suboptimal diets, underpinned by poorly functioning food systems, are contributing to a huge health cost, and that's growing and escalating every day. And the other, that diet choices in the food systems that underpin them are contributing significantly to the whole agenda of climate change through greenhouse gas emissions, natural resource depletion, loss of biodiversity, and so on. Right? So the diet is at the core of these two planetary challenges. That means that improving diets, having the improvement of healthy, sustainable diets as the vision going forward, represents a point of reference for making a transition possible. I'm not going to elaborate at length here, Corinna. Just going to say that we're not advocating silver bullets or magic solutions. Many of the policies and programs that need to be applied are fairly well known, but the things need to be done differently. And the many dots need to be better connected, so coherence of policy, as was just mentioned. So there are things at a global level that need to be done, including, we argue, a rebalancing of the $600 billion of subsidies that go to the agricultural sector. We're not saying stop supporting staple food production, but we are saying rebalance towards the kinds of foods that are supportive of sustainable, healthy diets. The same applies to agricultural research, R&D, both public and private sector, hugely dominated by staple foods, and very, very little on, by comparison, on nutrient-rich foods that need to enter food systems in much greater amounts. So high-quality diet, sustainably produced, is the goal, and what that requires is operations, interventions across the food sector. 4 sectors. More nutrient-rich foods need to be made available. That's part of the production system. Those feeds, if they're available, need to be accessible to everyone. That means innovations and technology to reduce loss and waste, improve transportation, improve wholesale and resale systems. They need to be affordable to everyone. We now know that 3 billion people today cannot afford a healthy diet, given prevailing food prices in countries and purchasing power. That has to change, but not by reducing the price of food necessarily, but by increasing purchasing power of everyone. And then finally, desirability. There's a key role here to empowering consumers, not just through education, but through modifying the relative prices of foods to make informed choice, a choice that will improve their own health and a choice that will support the health of the planet. So every nation has to come up with their own solution, their own vision, and work backwards to figure out what steps in a transition will get us to that vision. Thank you, Corinna.